As a struggling entrepreneur who saw no success for 3 years, I always ask the same question: what business should I start? Well, in 2024, I finally cracked the code and I was making $10, $20, even $40,000 a month in pure profit. So after starting and failing multiple different businesses in my late teens and early 20s, if you want to know the question, what business should I start? I don't think you should start a business. Now, this probably sounds confusing, but let me explain. I'm currently 24 years old and I made 6 figures in profit with my current business. If I were to start over from square one, here's what I would do instead. So here's a little backstory. It's 2020 and I finally graduated high school. And I had one goal in mind. I wanted to be a pilot. Ever since I was a little kid, I love flying. I love the idea of airplanes, and the moment I found out I could get paid to fly them, I thought to myself, yeah, I'm gonna be a pilot when I grow up. So straight out of college, I applied to a college that has a flying program in it, and I got accepted. I started flying these little Cessnas with big dreams of becoming a commercial airline pilot, making the big bucks. Everything was going well, and I was flying these airplanes until I took my medical test. Turns out, I'm colorblind. Now, as a pilot, being colorblind is a very big deal. It means you can't fly at night, and if you can't fly at night, no airline's gonna give me a job. Not only that, I got severely motion sick every time I flew. Every time I would fly, I would bring a barf bag with me, and when we land, you bet it's full. Not only that, I also was really scared of heights. I think God was telling me that wasn't my path. So after all of these setbacks and eventually came to the point where I legally couldn't fly because of my health, I had to hang it up, and yeah, I was sad, man. I was disappointed. But this was also the same time my passion for entrepreneurship began. So with a few years left in college, I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I asked myself, what business should I start? Little did I know that question I would be asking for the next 3 years. Now, I've always had the mind of an entrepreneur ever since I was a little kid. In fact, one of my very first side hustles was in middle school. I would take people's broken iPhone screens, take them apart, and fix them. I would order the parts from Amazon, and I watched some YouTube tutorials, and it was pretty cool. It's fixing everyone's iPhones. Now, since then, I've mowed people's lawns, painted people's houses, been a mechanic for a little bit. But now that I was in college, I came up with my very first big idea. So I identified a problem that college kids were paying way too much money for textbooks they would barely ever use. So I came up with this app idea that would let college kids buy, sell, and rent textbooks from each other for a quarter of the price they originally were. I thought it was the best idea in the world. I thought it was gonna be the next Facebook, and I was finally gonna escape the matrix. But that's when I found out business isn't easy, like at all. I had no idea how much work and money it takes for an app idea to even get off the ground. Development costs, programming, I mean, we're talking 6 figures here. So I went around to a bunch of college campuses, including my own, and actually people were pretty interested in the idea. Although they really liked the idea, they wanted to see a finished product, and I didn't have the money to even start that. So I was contacting venture capitalists. I was talking to my rich friends, seeing if I get some money to start this idea. And I spent over a year trying to develop this idea, but eventually the money went dry and I had to hang up the towel. Again. So I'm finally back to square one again. I've already burnt a year of my time, so I have to ask myself, what business should I start? And after weighing out my options, I decided I wanted to become an inventor. I mean, they make tons of money, right? So for the next few months, I was inventing everything from house accessories to gym equipment. I wanted to make the next big thing. Finally, I landed on a pretty big problem: car security. You see, car security is a huge problem, especially in America. A lot of people break into cars and steal things and just run off with it. And currently, no solution existed for it. So after doing some research and talking with the San Francisco Police Department, I decided this idea might be worth it. I came up with this product that actually goes into your car windows and prevents thieves from breaking into it. I thought this was an amazing idea, and since I didn't have any money, I built all 7 prototypes myself. I did all the research, I did all the fabrication. Took a while, but I managed to get them to work. And I even tried to file some patents for which they're pretty expensive. And now that I had a functional prototype, I was reaching out to potential clients every single day. But then the roadblocks came again. I needed money. A lot more money, even more than the app idea. These prototypes were not cheap, even if I made them myself. This meant that if I wanted to enter the initial testing phase for my prototypes, I needed tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars just to even start. And I was flat broke. I couldn't pay rent at this point, so I didn't have that kind of money. And again, I reached out to some venture capitalists and some rich friends to see if they would back the idea, and it didn't go too well. I was a beginner in this field, and as much as I tried, I was pretty inexperienced. And that became clear after everyone rejected my idea, even though I thought it was really good. So after 2 years of trying to make this idea a reality, I finally hung up the towel and said, you know what? It might be a good idea, but as a broke college student, I don't think I could do this yet. So I put the idea on the back burner, and 3 years later, I'm asking myself, what business should I start? So at this point, I was pretty discouraged and even doubting myself as an entrepreneur. But after consulting with my mentors and a bunch of friends around me, I realized that I was the problem. I didn't lack ideas or creativity. I had tons of that. What I lacked was high income skills. I've always thought that in order to make money as an entrepreneur, you have to create the next Facebook, Netflix, or the biggest invention idea on Shark Tank you've ever seen. What I didn't realize is that if you're a starting entrepreneur, you don't need to make the next Facebook. All you need to do is learn a high income skill and apply it. This took me 3 years to figure out, but once I finally had this mindset, everything changed for me. So I started looking into online skills I can learn. There was copywriting, client acquisition, sales. But what I found most interesting was content creation. I'm naturally a very creative person, so content creation came naturally to me. So I started doing some research. I watched a ton of free YouTube videos and I started posting on TikTok. And as weird as it sounds, my very first videos were AI memes using ChatGPT's image creator, and I would post funny pictures of Homer Simpson from The Simpsons, and people liked it a lot. I started to grow my TikTok account from zero, and people were interacting with it, people really liked it, and yeah, I think I found something I really liked. So my TikTok account was growing steady. I wasn't making any money from it at all. This is when I found out about something called Tik Tok Shop. And if you don't know already, here's a basic rundown of what Tik Tok Shop is. If you're ever scrolling through the TikTok app and you see the orange link on some people's videos, those people are Tik Tok Shop affiliates. Basically, if you were to buy a product from that person's video, they would get a commission from you. These commissions can range from a few cents to a few dollars, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it can add up really quick. And I saw the potential of this, so I decided to switch my TikTok account over to a TikTok Shop account. And from there, I started filming products and selling them, and the results came in fast. The very first month of doing TikTok Shop, I made around $700 profit. This is just from posting TikTok videos. I was completely mind blown. I didn't have to make some crazy invention idea. I didn't have to make an app idea. I just had to post TikToks, and I've made more money from that from any of those ideas combined. So I started taking TikTok Shop seriously, and in May of 2024, I hit my first 10K month in profit. Actually, I think it was around $12,000 I took home. And from there, things got crazy. I was making $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 a month in profit just from posting TikToks. This is the point I realized that if you're a starting entrepreneur like I used to be, you don't need to make the next Facebook as your first step. All you need to do is learn a high income skill and apply it. At this point, you can get some first-hand experience in your field, and then after months and months and months of doing this, you can identify a problem, you're qualified to fix it, and now you can start your business. So I wouldn't say I wasted my first years as an entrepreneur trying to start a million different businesses, because I learned a ton of valuable lessons from that. But I know for a fact that in the beginning of my journey, if I focused on learning a high income skill instead of trying to start a million different businesses, my progress would have been a lot further than it is now. So my advice to any starting entrepreneurs in the beginning of your journey, don't try to start a million different businesses. Just learn a high income skill and apply it to the world. And once you gain the experience, identify the right problems that you're qualified to fix, then and only then you can actually start your business and make the real money. I hope you guys got some value from this video talking about my story and what I think you should do instead of starting your own business. And if you want to check out any of my socials, just click the link in my description. I got YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. With that being said, God bless, good luck, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.